All right, thanks for joining us. So we had a classic matchup on the hardwood as Eagle Valley made the trip over to Battle Mountain High to take on the Huskies.
Battle Mountain High boys basketball was coming off a two-game skid and looking to turn it around against the rival school. Two players hit the deck, giving Cooper Skidmore the open look. He takes the three and nails it to get the Huskies on the board. Eagle Valley now with the ball. Parker Newbanks takes the three and nails it for the Devils to tie this game up at 3 apiece. Devils back with the ball. Dylan Zollard drives straight to the basket, lays it up, and it is good for Eagle Valley. On the other end, Skidmore takes it straight to the basket and scores big for the Huskies. Battle Mountain now back with it. Blake Roberts goes straight to the basket and gets this one to go as well for the Huskies. Under the basket, it's Elias Pina, and he'll get the contested reverse layup to drop in for the Devils. Battle Mountain will have it stolen away, and Jonah Medina will get the bucket to go for the Devils. Before time expires, Eagle Valley takes a shot. It's no good, but gets cleaned up by Tyler Bates, and the Devils are starting to feel themselves. Eagle Valley will go on to get the win over Battle Mountain, beating the Huskies 58-44.
Battle Mountain High and Eagle Valley High girls basketball also squared off on the hardwood, and we got those highlights for you now.
Battle Mountain girls basketball was on a 3-game skid and looking to turn it around against their rivals. However, Eagle Valley wasn't going to make it easy as the Devils have been playing hot lately. The Devils taking the ball down the court, and Josie Fitzsimmons will drive straight to the basket and secure the bucket for Eagle Valley. Battle Mountain will have it taken away by Addie Mandenville, who goes straight to the rack and earns another Devils 2 points. Eagle Valley coming into enemy grounds and looking tough on the hardwood. The Huskies now on the attack. They lose possession, but Isabel Zastra will recover and nail the shot from mid-range to end an Eagle Valley run. But the Devils will snap back into action as Abby Talbot pulls up and gets this one to drop in from close range. However, on the other end, the Huskies will find a wide-open Anna Glass, who has all the time on her side, and she nails the three for Battle Mountain. On the other end, Zakiya Sharif gets the rock and puts it into the basket on the quick catch and shoot. Then with two defenders on her, Sydney DeTrolio will pass it away, get it back, and put it up into the basket for another Devils 2 points. Eagle Valley girls basketball travels to Edwards and gets the job done as they beat Battle Mountain 46-22.
Over at Vail Christian, the boys basketball team has a new head coach at the helm, and here's our first conversation with the new head coach of Vail Christian basketball, Andrew Neumann. So we're with the new head coach of Vail Christian basketball, Andrew Neumann, and Coach, you got a new season in front of you. What's kind of the expectation there?
Well, it's really hard to say right now. We're a very green, very young team, but we're super excited. A lot of great kids, a lot of work ethic going on, a lot of effort going in, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, and I was telling you this earlier when we were chatting just a minute ago, but you know, you guys may be a newer team, but it seems like the chemistry is already there. Do you feel like you guys already kind of have that camaraderie on the team?
Yeah, for sure. A couple of the seniors in particular are doing a great job leading us, so they're building that chemistry from the top down. And then the younger guys, in each of those classes, there's a couple kids that are really leading their classes. So I'm really happy to see this early in the season, this kind of chemistry.
Okay, in what ways will those seniors come together? You mentioned you have three, Jack Pryor, Will Newman. How do you think those guys are going to kind of come together and lead this team this season?
Well, they're going to have to really put in a lot of effort on the court, probably getting a lot of minutes out there. Hopefully everybody stays healthy, but it's more their leadership off the court that matters. They're doing a great job really leading these guys and building that chemistry, especially encouraging the younger guys. You know, when you're new to high school basketball or it's your first time on varsity, there's a lot you got to learn. There's a huge learning curve, and those guys are doing a great job encouraging the younger players.
And you may be new to the head coaching role, taking over the helm of this Vail Christian program, but you're not new to the team by any standard. You've been here 2 years, got the torch passed over you from Coach Coons. What was that moment like to be kind of handed the role of this program that's been successful in his 23 years here, to be that guy that he wanted to take over the helm?
Yeah, that was a huge honor. Really grateful for everything that he's done for this school and for this program. And like you said, 23 years, he's built a winning culture, a winning program, a great chemistry. We're going to be keeping a lot of the things that he did and just try to build on the great foundation he's already created.
Okay, and you mentioned, you know, not a lot's going to change. That winning culture is hopefully going to stick around too with you at the helm. But what things may change under your leadership?
We're going to keep trying to maintain a pretty high tempo. You know, this valley is a valley that has a lot of great athletes. We've got a lot of great athletes on this team, so can work really hard to keep pushing the tempo and you know, really working to have a high character team that in everything we do, we're trying to reflect the values of this school.
Okay, and you mentioned you got a scrimmage with Battle Mountain coming up. Obviously, that's an exhibition game against, you know, another Valley team, so you probably want to do pretty well in that matchup. But what kind of makes that a good game from y'all, how you show up against Battle Mountain?
Well, it's going to be interesting because we're only going to have about 6 practices with this green group of guys before we hit that scrimmage. So we're still learning each other's names, let alone all the offenses, defenses. So a lot of it's just going to be going out there and playing good basketball. It is fun, though, to be playing inter-valley teams. A lot of these guys play together in the off season, so they all know each other. And so what's really fun is those friendships, knowing the coaches, knowing the guys, the friendships off the court, and then you get on the court, all of a sudden, game's on. It's competition. And even though in a scrimmage, you know, you're not supposed to keep score, I can promise you, every one of our guys, they're going to know the score in their own heads. So we'll have a good time.
And speaking about playing, you know, inter-valley teams, you guys play Vail Mountain School twice a year. That's the big rivalry in this valley for y'all. What's it going to be like, you think, just getting on the court as the head coach of this team and playing them this year for your first time at the helm?
Yeah, this year we're going to be playing them at their gym. Their gym is always packed. It's a tight gym. It'll be a full house, I'm sure. And like you said, it's an in-valley competition, so this should be a really good time. This is going to be a tough game. They always play a tough game. They're a very well-coached team. They're very strategic in the way they play the game, so it's going to be a really tough game for sure.
How have you kind of grown to appreciate this rivalry between Vail Christian and Vail Mountain School in your 2 years prior to taking over this team?
Well, it's always one of the games we have circled on our calendar, and I'm sure they do as well. It's just a good time. I mean, off the court, you want to be able to say you won that game this year, you know, so they'll have a great program. They always have a great program. Hopefully we'll be strong as well, and it should be a really tight game.
Okay, and you mentioned Plateau Valley this season as being a big contender. Obviously, you may have a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth after last season, but what are you looking to get out of that matchup this year with them?
Well, we're going to learn a lot where we stand. They're third game of the season, so we have the home opener, and then we've got them on the 5th of December. And as you mentioned, they beat us twice in a row last year, 2 out of 3 games in a row. So that'll be a really tough team. They've got most of their starting lineup returning from that state team that went to state last year, and it'll be a really good way for us to find out, you know, where we stand compared to the rest of the conference, and where we stand even in terms of being a potential state contender.
Mm-hmm. And this may be the hardest question I ask you all day, but if you could just narrow it down, what do you think you're looking forward to the most in this new season?
Wow. I just honestly enjoy being on the court with these guys. I mean, it's an awesome group of guys. I've mentioned I grew up in a gym basically with my dad being a coach, and so the chance just to be in the gym with a great group of guys, obviously the competition, doing a little bit of mentoring along the way, and I hope we get a couple wins as well. That'd be great.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. Anything you want to add?
No, just grateful for the opportunity.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, CU women's basketball has certainly had an impressive season so far this year, and here's a little look at what head coach J.R. Payne and the team were thinking ahead of the 2023-24 year.
Back-to-back trips to the big dance confirm head coach of CU women's basketball J.R. Payne is no stranger to success. Now she enters her 8th season at the helm in Boulder. What have you learned in these past 8 years that you can't wait to implement the most into a new season?
Great question. I mean, I think early on we learned it's really important to be just true to who you are and what you want to be about. And so we've worked really hard to recruit the type of players that we want to be around, kids that are blue collar, hardworking, tough, do their job, be a great teammate. And so that hasn't really changed for us. You know, now that we've really locked into that in the past many years, we've created a culture where we are those things.
Coming off a run to the Sweet 16, Payne's team returned some of the best talent in the conference. She believes preseason all-conference players Jalen Sherrod and Quay Miller will set the tone.
I would say that nobody in the world has higher expectations of ourselves than we do. Like I said, our veterans do a great job of making sure that we're holding ourselves to the standard that we believe we're capable of.
Payne's confidence runs high for the season, which entails a tough non-conference schedule, beginning with the reigning national champions. But the Buffaloes team is hungry for the challenge.
When you look at how tough our schedule is, that tells you how I feel about our team, you know, and our readiness to compete. We talked to our veterans about some of the games that were, you know, put in front of us, and our veterans said, absolutely, we want these games, you know, and so they wanted to be challenged in that way. We'll be prepared.
Make sure to continue keeping up with us as we're going to give you all the latest sports coverage continually here in the Valley and beyond. We'll see you next time.